criminal in his eyes. And so we're going to deport all these people. Now, if you have not paid attention to the news, if you are not somebody who interviews political figures, if you're not somebody who reads the newspaper, if you're not somebody who watches any type of media that would show what Donald Trump has been campaigning on, if you're not someone who was aware that Donald Trump came down and said, Mexicans are essentially some of them.
There's two things that are insane. One is the targeting cartel members, not gang members, not drug dealers, just construction workers showing up in construction sites, raiding them, gardeners. Yeah, like really? Or Palestinian students colleges, that led to South Africa,
It's like you're either not this smart or you're not this dumb. Pick one.
Exactly.
He's not anymore, right?
The undergirding of Trump support and part of their mandate. If there was some type of sign, so Brian, Google it. I don't know, mass deportation sign. Oh, there you go. Let's keep going through this. Let's go through. Oh, those are almost as if like a political party printed those signs. And it was at, what was it? Oh, the Republican convention. Or a Trump rally. I mean, on and on and on and on and on. I'm sorry, but this, whatever it is that Joe Rogan thinks is depressing his viewership, and all of a sudden this indignation about this stuff, I mean, people have to understand, he's just a businessman. He doesn't give a shit about any of it. I wouldn't have no idea that there was going to be tax breaks if Donald Trump got. I had no idea. Who knows? I'm sorry. I just don't think he's that stupid. Listen, I really agree that he doesn't read anything other than what is presented to him by his regular buddies. Citizens. But I don't think he's that stupid. In the meantime, in the ramp up for these new ICE officers coming, this is coming. And to the extent that they were in any way holding back, which I don't know that they were, we're going to see more and more arrests. I mean, now it's like, it's a story if you see ICE working in your city. I guarantee you in 6 months, it's going to be a story you don't see ICE for a day.
I mean, the people of Los Angeles right now are being terrorized.
Yeah.
Terrorized.
There was a meeting in where activists are meeting folks like Chicago, talking and communicating with LA activists about the way that you can confront ICE, the way that you can protest. There's a lot of good work that's being done by people on the street. More people have to join them. More people are going to have to get involved in this, and they're going to have to do it relatively quickly. Here is an easy thing for folks to do. I've mentioned this app before. It's called Axemaster. MSNBC, I think it was NBC or MSNBC. MSNBC did an interview with the developer of Axemaster.
Josh, are you not concerned that the administration might come after you personally for the development of this app?
I think whenever you push back against a regime that is purporting authoritarianism, pushing fascism, and subverting the rule of law in our Constitution, if you push back against them, you have to know they're going to come after you in some way. And I think, go ahead, come after me. You can demonize me all you want. You can demonize the app all you want. But the reality is, it's protected speech under the First Amendment. There's nothing illegal about creating this app, and there's nothing illegal about using the app. We are not reporting violence against anybody. This is simply an early warning system. And if your viewers liken it to something easy to understand, think of Waze or think of Apple Maps. When you can report a speed trap up ahead, what do? You slow down when you see that warning. And this is the same kind of thing. So if you see a warning that ICE has been cited, just turn around and keep yourself and your family safe.
All right, Joshua, Aaron, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Check it out. Ice Block. I think it's only available on iOS right now. Jester from Jersey says, Sam, I'm 100% sure Ice Block is safe. It's hard to tell one way or another, but I have seen reels on Instagram saying certain details about Ice Block are suspicious. I mean, look, I don't know. I can't say for 100% assuredness, but I can tell you that every app you have, short of the Majority Report app, has I think it's called an IDK, which basically tracks you in some fashion. I know Apple now has a thing where they'll ask you if you don't want the app to track you. It will track you, but it doesn't know, and I imagine if they wanted to, they could get demographic information from you in the same way that every app can. But, and I also imagine that there may be sometimes people putting up false sightings. But, cops, I imagine, sometimes do that with Waze. So I think, by and large, my guess is it's relatively safe. I don't think that these, whatever the conspiracies are about it, I find it hard to believe that there's much information there. It is really very basic. You don't have to sign in, you don't give an email, et cetera, et cetera. He says it doesn't track any info and it's used anonymously. That's the developer's word, though. So grain of salt, says Progressive Blob 228. Yeah, I take it with a grain of salt, but I think on balance, it's a risk that's willing to take. Listen, none of the stuff that progressively we're going to have to start doing is going to be without risk. the best you can do is get a decent assessment of what that risk is and make an assessment as to whether that risk is worth it. Until I have more information that the app is somehow, you know, problematic or compromised or something to that effect, it's not tracking me any more or less than my weather app is, frankly. So, I use it. I'm waiting, I'm walking around, constantly looking for ice now. Every time I'm on the subway, I'm like scanning everybody, getting ready to take a video. Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out. This big bad bill that passed on Friday, that they have really backed the cuts to Medicaid. In some instances, you're not going to see those until the end of 26 after the midterm elections. Some in the 27 and into 28. But it's going to be pretty devastating.
Giving me.
Healthcare cuts are going to come quicker.
Give me a good ass sword.
Because that is part of sequestration. If you run a deficit, there are rules that were set up in 2010.
You never get a fucking sword rod before
There's
here.
an automatic across-the-board cut.
Perfect.
And Medicare looks to be losing $50 million a year. It's unclear how they're going to get around this. Theoretically, Republicans could say, all right, we're going to override the pay-go rules. I don't think they're going to do that. What you will see sooner is that if you're on the exchanges and you're in the low-income part of the ACA exchanges, you're going to get hit with much higher rates. The subsidies are going to get cut. Let's get into some of the specifics. One of the things that people were talking about is people on Social Security got an interesting letter today.
Yeah, an email.
We heard from maybe half a dozen to a dozen of our listeners sent me this, but I also saw it from other folks. Social Security sent out an email. Social Security applauds passage of legislation providing historic tax relief for seniors. Social Security Administration is celebrating the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill. First of all, I don't know if this violates the HACA Act. It sure feels like it.
Yeah.
But it's not even a One Big Beautiful Bill.
Yeah, they messed it up.
Chuck Schumer had the name Policies Paid Bill Coalition.
But also, like, they're messing up the acronym because this was supposed to be, making a joke out of Build Back Better.
Yeah. A landmark piece of legislation that delivers the long-awaited tax relief to millions of elderly Americans. The bill ensures that nearly 90% of Social Security beneficiaries will no longer pay federal income taxes on their benefits, providing meaningful and immediate relief to seniors who have spent a lifetime contributing to our nation's economy. Just scroll up really guys, so I can immediately remember. Okay, that's it. Now, here's the thing. It's alarming. Or I should say it's misleading. Because the number of people who pay, of Social Security beneficiaries who pay taxes, they're not getting it. They're not getting relief. First of all, the relief has nothing to do whether you're on Social Security. It has to do with your age. Now, it just so happens that everybody over the age of 65 gets Social Security, or the vast majority. Older single filers are going to get a $6,000 deduction, $12,000 coverage. But as long as your income falls under a certain ceiling, below 75,000, below 153 joint filers. But half of the people on Social Security receive income that is too low to be taxed anyway. So lower income people are not going to be helped. The new tax break is expected to be. All right, let's do a little play in 4 acts, shall we?
Sure.
We'll probably ultimately need a tear sheet to do the 4th act. Here's the first act. Elon Musk on Carlson's show on X. Is Tucker Carlson still on X?
I think so. Oh no.
A while ago.
He's not still on it? He's not still on doing a show with Twitter?
That's the logo.
Interesting.
I'll double check.
Because
David, here's Elon Musk on that show. This is in, I feel like the summer of 2024. Less than a year ago. Maybe, a little less than a year ago. And here is Elon Musk with a prediction of what's going to happen when Donald Trump gets into office.
You know, I think part of why Kamala's getting so much support is that if Trump wins, but at the same time, this is going to become public. Yes. And some of the pointers why Kamala are terrified of that outcome. Yeah. Do you read hard?
Do you think Reid Hoffman's on that list? All right, well, that explains why Harris was getting all
the
of that billionaire money was because they were so afraid of the Epstein list coming out.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey.
And now, let's go to Pam Bondi.
in February.
This is early February. The heat is on less than 3 weeks after Donald Trump's in office. Sorry, Kamala Harris's billionaires. Your day is about to end. Or come up, or whatever.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So, have you seen anything that you said, oh my God?
Not yet.
Well, we'll check back with you.
All right, well, let's check back with her. See if there's anything there.
Somebody else get around from there?
Yeah. We have another clip with Pam Bondi, right? This is 21. This is on Sean Hannity's show. This is just 3 weeks later. In February.
But yeah, taxes all went out, so nothing to see here, basically. Oh, he killed himself. He killed himself. He killed himself.
Oh, you're ruining the
I didn't know.
narrative.
Oh,
It's a 4-part narrative.
I'm sorry.
3.
I'm sorry.
Pam Bondi.
To get us everything, and a source had told me where the documents were being kept. Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m. Thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer, of course, and Cash is going to, Director Patel, is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
Okay, I want to be clear because I think people got frustrated because they were expecting more. You were expecting more.
Pause it.
And you didn't find out less than 24 hours before the release.
Now, understand, he's referring to the big show that the Trump people put on with their bonders. Remember Mike Cernovich and Laura Loomer coming out of the White House with a binder saying, look at these documents we have. And they were actually just documents that were already made public, and even more redacted than the first time that they were made public. We've got these new binders with even more redaction. Here she is, here's Hannity talking about the frustration. Remember, this is all way back in February, when all of the lunatic, trippy people were really jazzed about the Epstein files because it was going to show the one world cabal and the Clintons and all the scumbags, and then at one point, well, you say, well,
You were expecting more, and you didn't find out less than 24 hours before the release. You got a whistleblower that confirmed that there were way more documents that were supposed to turn over, and then you found out just before that.
Well, sure, and you're looking at these documents saying, these aren't all the Epstein files. You know, there was flight logs, there were names and victims' names, and we're going, where's the rest of the stuff? And that's what the FBI had turned over to us. And so a source said, whoa, all this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York. So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI. Cash is going to give me, and himself really, a detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence have been withheld. And, you know, we're going to go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein, because there are a lot of victims.
Well, you had identified in phase 1 over 254. Okay. Now, is that the only thing that would be redacted? Will everything else be made public that you get in your possession?
Yeah, the FBI hasn't had, obviously, they haven't looked at the thousands of pages of documents that they've just received Friday. The Cash has a team going through them, and it's always about protecting the victims. But you know what? We believe in transparency, and America has the right to know. The Biden administration sat on these documents. No one did anything with them, and why were they sitting in the Southern District of New York? I want a full report on that. You know, sadly, these people don't believe in transparency, but I think more, unfortunately, I think a lot of them don't believe in honesty. And it's a new day, it's a new administration, and everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
And that goes the same with the JFK files.
JFK, Martin Luther King, yeah, absolutely.
What are the things that, and maybe some people don't understand the need to redact it. In the case of a victim, that should be pretty obvious to
Pause it
people.
for a second. What I love here is he's about to say, like, well, you're probably going to have to redact the president's name. Like, and people don't understand. Remember when Donald Trump was like, oh, we're going to release the JFK files. Epstein files, yeah, but probably not, because you don't want to do that. You don't want to do it, because innocent people get injured.
The reason the Biden administration didn't release this is because they didn't make it a core campaign promise. They were smart enough to know that actually some of this is like blackmail material, most likely selected through Mossad and stuff like that, that the FBI says we can absolutely not release, so we're not going to make it a campaign issue that they're going to run on. That's why they're in this situation here. They can't release this information because it's too juicy, and they're not actually interested in dismantling our security or national security.
Let's see Hannity sort of like explain why we understand why victims would have to be redacted. Why would you ever redact?
Maybe some people don't understand the need to redact it. In the case of a victim, that should be pretty obvious to people. What are the other things that maybe you would have to redact?
Well,
National security?
no, of course, national security is very information, which is always going to be confidential. But we'll see. Let's work as fast as we can, get it out to the American people, because the American people have a right to know, not only on that, but on Kennedy, on Martin Luther King, on all of these cases that the Biden administration has just sat on for all these years. So yeah, it's really, it's not sad, it's infuriating that these people thought that they could sit on this information, but they
Pause
can't.
it.
It's a new day.
Let's see. It's a new day. What is the information that the Biden people have been sitting on? What is the refusal to tell the truth that the Biden people have been sitting on? Oh, what's this?
Oh, exclusive. DOJ FBI completed Epstein had no client list, died by a suicide. Oh,
Let's scroll up a little bit. This is a memo, apparently, that has been leaked to Axios. Now, again, Axios is not too dissimilar from Politico in that when stuff gets leaked to them, it's always for a reason. In this instance, it's almost almost as if, like, you were to look at the front page of the paper, and, or let's just say, go to Google News, for instance.
Gonna make this ring. Why the fuck not? Reflection. Sell this fucking other one back at 10. Will the Wisp is stupid. So why can't you study danger? What? Damn, yo, fucking battery. Charge it. Alright, we can do it. It's a nice thing to find. Don't need that. Fuck it, I don't need that. I just realized I do need